As promised, we are finally here to sit down and take a more thorough look at this insane grand finals from IEM Melbourne over the past weekend. We're specifically focusing in on that epic finale on Nuke, where things went all the way to triple overtime before Vitality claimed the crown, the championship, the Grand Slam, your mother, everything. You know what happened. Basically, I want to go through pretty much every single round from the point where Falcons looked like they were in an unlosable position up 11-5, all the way through the overtimes and how Vitality got the win on the other side of it. It's time for some nitty, gritty, in-depth, good old-fashioned Counter-Strike analysis. So if you guys enjoy that kind of content, make sure you show me by leaving a like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I want to hit 10k subs by the end of the year. I know we can do it, so let's go ahead and make that happen. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and thank today's sponsor as well. That's right, this video is sponsored by Skin Club. They're one of the most popular case opening sites in the scene with over 100 custom cases backed by their provably fair system. You can open cases individually or wager your winnings against other users in case battles, either with players around the world or privately with bots if you want to avoid being smurfed outside of Premiere as well. But wait, there's more. Skin Club runs monthly events with free rewards to earn, free daily cases, and if you don't like what you earned, you can always go for a cheeky little upgrade to get something you do. If you want to play on Skin Club, you can do so at the top link in the description down below and get a 7% deposit bonus when you top off your account with credit card, crypto, or the 5,000 Peach 50 sand dunes in your inventory. Please gamble responsibly and only do so if you are over 18 and live in a country or jurisdiction that doesn't restrict gambling. Gambling can be an addiction, and you should never gamble for the purposes of making profit. Only wager what you are comfortable losing. If you or a loved one are suffering from gambling addiction in the US or Canada, you can reach out to 1-800-GAMBLER toll-free to get help. I want you to be safe and healthy always, so seek help if you need it. And thank you to Skin Club for sponsoring this video. Okay, so first things first, let's set the stage a little bit. Here is the round before Falcons achieved their 11-5 lead. It is the 16th round. Let's go ahead and take a look at the scoreboard and keep an eye on some narratives going forward. The first thing that should stand out like an absolute sore thumb here is TeSS. Keep in mind that TeSS is going to end this game with 40 kills. Between then and now, he is going to get 32 more kills for the Falcons, which is absolutely insane. Equally insane, I have to mention as well, ZywOo also damn near gets 40, so both of these players just start throwing haymakers from this point. It really does boil down into many of these rounds coming up of who can get a multi-kill first out of TeSS or ZywOo, and then the players around the fringe making things happen to finish out these rounds. Another thing I will drag your attention to is both m0NESY and Nico. Keep an eye on their scores and we'll update as we go along. As I covered in my recap, from now until we hit overtime, m0NESY is going to struggle only getting 2 more total kills until we hit extra frames. Meanwhile, Nico himself is going to continue to just have like spotty impact. I know the whole Nico choking in playoffs thing is a big narrative right now. I wouldn't say that he choked here. If anything, I think more what happened is that TeSS was getting so many double kill entries that there was just not a whole lot of room for Nico to get big moments. He was getting like 1 kill or not needed to get a kill in a round and just moving along. He very much enabled TeSS and got out of his way, which I think is commendable in the moment. Lastly, and then we'll get into the proper round breakdowns, both mezii and romps to this point have not had good games. They will be very important key factors for Vitality mounting this comeback as we watch on through. Let's go ahead and roll it back to the beginning of this round and start breaking down how Falcons got their 11th. Okay, so this is very much Falcons' kind of default setup. It's an early smoke big garage. They throw up the initial smoke wall so they can get their team out to red box. But they're going to throw the close secret smokes from red box so they can cross to secret. They're going to get 4 players downstairs. No real big deal here. No intel really given over to Vitality other than that the smoke wall is up. Vitality can assume there are players downstairs, but they can't know how many or where they're going to go from here. Magisk is left over to lurk inside a lobby, and as the players make their way downstairs, we're going to stick with TeSS's point of view. He is going to drop dead to Romps Magisk in lobby, so at this point Vitality knows it's going to be a B hit. There's too little time. Unless someone scoots up the vents, it's going to be B. ZywOo tucks into dark. TeSS is getting ready to enter outdoor with Kicksan, is going to find a nice headshot onto Romps. Unfortunately, no one clears dark here. A miscommunication by Falcons that gives ZywOo a window to take care of Kicksan after the bomb plant. Thankfully, Nico on top of the rafters does take care of him not that long after, bringing us down to a 3v3 post-plant situation. Vitality are low on utility, only a single kit, then they're really split up and unable to support each other. m0NESY is going to take care of mezii, which is going to force the remaining Vitality players into a save. Tessus in the vents is going to try and play spoiler here. He's going to go upstairs as Apex runs away to Big Garage to try and save. Meanwhile, Flamesy has made it to CT. Tessus goes up the vents. He's going to take care of Apex, no problem. And him and Muncie are successfully going to hunt down Flamesy so that they save nothing and are going into defending match point, series point, with essentially no money. So it's going to be a desperation force buy. Frankly, Falcons should be closing the game right here every single time. And in this round, things go off about as well as you could hope at the start, with Tessus hitting a frankly incredible pre-aim one-tap on Apex, like just Scream-esque. Just one bullet, dead, gone, sit on your ass, go home. And it's going to give Falcons a lot of time to navigate through their usual smoke wall, get downstairs a secret. Like I said, this is their default play. They spammed this throughout this entire game, this entire tournament. They love to just use the double smoke wall, get secret control, and work the round from there with Magisk lurking in the lobby. And at this point for Vitality, right, is what are you even trying to do? Yeah, sure, you can get Mezzy and Flamesy down there with the 5.7 and the MP9, but how much of a resistance are they really going to be able to put up? Mezzy is going to do a good job of getting a kill, and it's going to push Falcons back a little bit, but it feels like it's only preventing the inevitable. They can't even recover the weapon that was dropped by Munacy going down here. Really, the ray of hope here is going to be ZywOo, and we all know what this is building to, but let's get there in a second. First things first, ZywOo is going to just go into hunt with his scout, trying to clear things out with Robs coming through ramp, and he is going to just lay out Magisk, just smite him from the heavens with that scout shot. But with Mezzy having gone down to Tessus, that means the window into the B side is now more open than ever, and this is the frustrating part of your Vitality. If this was a loss here, Flamesy would be kicking himself. He has this great position in the vents, and what this boils down to is I believe the crowd, Tessus must have heard something because this turnaround is just too well timed to the crowd cheering on the live stream. Whatever, Flamesy goes down, ZywOo with the flying MP9 into Kicksan, and this clutch is just a thing of beauty. There's nothing else to say here. ZywOo's reaction time, his decision making is just, the best in the world. He is the best player in the world right now, and just disgusting shots, dude. The first flick, Nico's low, and then the reacquiring the target on Tessus, who has played so good these last couple rounds, gets him down to 4 HP, and the game is still alive, but only barely. And for sure, this clutch is what reinvigorated Vitality. Like, everyone else had been playing so poor up to this point, and this is just the kind of play from your superstar marquee player that could just put the hope back in you that this game is not lost. I think Vitality play a lot stronger, more coordinated, more involved from here on because of it. Now for Falcons, it's not over, right? If you manage to win this round, because Vitality still are not fully bought up, they're still really broke, you not only get match point, but you send them right back into the position they were last round with no money to defend series point, which is an entirely different kind of pressure than the round previous. So you need to win this here. It's going to come down to a late A execute from Falcons, which I really like. Tessus and Nico are going to trade their way out of Squeaky. Tessus is going to get a double kill, open up the bomb site. ZywOo's going to drop into the back side from heaven. He's going to get one before going down to Kicksan. Flamesy is going to jump up the vents and take care of Tessus. Kicksan's going to take him out, letting everybody into a 1v1 situation. Kicksan and Robs. Kicksan is going to play with the time a little bit. Robs does very well to not give him any initiative. Kicksan is looking to drop vent every single time here, and he's going to maneuver over and try and get downstairs. Now, we had some contention on this in the comments, but I still stand by this. I think Robs misplays this round. I do not think Robs should be taking a dry swing after a loud drop on the vent when it's very, very clear once Kicksan hears you drop that he should be going for the fake plant. I insist, and I will die on this hill, that Robs should have just either gone down silent or he should have just given up the plant and navigated the post-plant situation. Because this pre-fire from Kicksan is the easiest pre-fire in the world as far as I'm concerned. From a loud drop vent with that little time, the only place Robs could go was to the open single door in Decon. It is too easy for Kicksan to hit that shot. Robs is a fantastic clutch player, he has great clutches later on, but this is a mistake, and I will just stand by that it is a mistake. So an unforced error by Vitality now means that Falcons are on series point with the best team in the world on the back foot. However, Falcons will make their own first of many mistakes here by calling a timeout. Structurally, I understand why this timeout was called. You're frazzled from a miracle clutch, the adrenaline's running high, and you want to try and reset your focus so you don't make dumb mistakes going into the next round. But consider the inverse, right? Because Vitality have to also be rocked. They're coming off the heels of a miracle clutch from ZywOo, and then a heartbreaking clutch loss from Robs. They're broke. They have nothing going into this round. Run them over while they're bleeding. I do not understand why this timeout was taken. I understand that maybe you want to take a timeout the round after if Falcons had lost. That would make sense because you ran it down, you lost, okay, let's reset, the game is still on. But right now you need to push the advantage. You simply gave time for Vitality to calm down as well and really structured their game plan going into this round. That's what makes so little sense to me. This timeout gives them as much benefit as it might give to Falcons, whereas if you're the Falcons, you can try and play off momentum and the gun advantage, get your players out and aggressive the way they like to play. I just don't think this did anything helpful for Falcons, and if anything, gave Vitality the break they needed to make this comeback real. And as this round is played out, I think you get to see what I mean. Rob's able to get a trade and ramp before he goes down. Nico lurking through Big Rush gets caught out on an angle difference by ZywOo, and now you're in a 4v3. You're forced to go downstairs. You have no intel towards the A side other than ZywOo was around there recently. You walk right into the loving arms of Apex with that scout, who, mind you, probably would have been tilted out of his mind if this round didn't have the timeout previous for him to reset. Apex fires 3 scout shots, 3 hits, 2 of them kills. Tessus is now left in a 1v4. And credit to Tessus, where he navigates this simply beautifully. After taking care of Apex, he drops down, he gets the bomb on the lower bomb, so he's got 30 seconds, he's got plenty of time to work with here. Vitality have doubled up into the double doors. He's going to open the door once, take care of ZywOo, start playing around the door with Flamesy. He's going to take out Flamesy thereafter, and now he's got a window into the upper bomb site. Mezzy's rotated around through ramp. The only thing that goes wrong for Tessus here is he couldn't have predicted that Mezzy would be this quick into heaven. Mezzy does get the clean shot onto him when his back is turned. This would have been a 1v4 clutch tournament win against the best team in the world, but Tessus misses it by 1 bit of bad timing. The game goes on. And this is exactly what I mean about momentum in the next round, right? Apex, who had been previously having a bad game, looked visibly frazzled. He gets that great play with the scout, and now he's ready to play like Apex. He's going to get in your face, aggressive. He pushes outside all the way to behind Mini to tuck in the corner, completely catches Nico unawares as Falcons push for outside control. ZywOo gets a great return spray through the smoke wall to take out Tessus on the trade, and immediately Falcons fall into a 4v3 deficit. And with this man disadvantage, they have to take their sweet time working their way down secret into downstairs, trying to clear everything. They're wasting so much time. It's getting close to below 30 seconds. Flamesy gets a great jump spot onto Munisi from single door, which lets Vitality know this is going to be a B finish, and the fortress can get set up, and the man on the walls, the leader of the garrison, is Rops from ramp. It's a great double kill while Flamesy takes the other from control, and that's going to be a 10th round for Vitality. And incidentally, a 11th as well, because this was a full save from Falcons in the following round. We're just going to breeze past that. Now we come into the last round of regulation. And first thing I want to focus on, I like this decision from Apex. Playing on top of Big Garage is very, very risky. You probably only want to do it about once a game if you're going to do it at all. This was a hell of a round to pull the trigger on it, because so far Falcons have not been showing much attention to playing somebody onto Marshmallow. So it's pretty free if you do it. And it leaves Nico in just an unwinnable position, because eventually Apex is going to check for him. It's such a hard position to respond to because it's so uncommonly played. It leads to an easy opening pick for Apex. And then we cut over to Ramp Room, where Robs is finally going to wake up here, get an amazing double kill on the players entering into Ramp. That's going to leave Magisk and Kicksan trying to navigate a 2v4. Robs is going to take a third before going down to Magisk. And Magisk is not exactly in the position to be winning 1v3s. So overtime it is. Let's start getting into the extra frames. First round overtime was actually pretty straightforward, but I like the pace call from Falcons here. Don't give time for Vitality to really get comfortable here. Let's just hit A site quick, fast, dirty. Magisk gets a great entry out hut. Tessus gets yet another double kill coming out the squeaky door. Props does get one back coming through trophy room on Nico, but him and ZywOo are just going to save straightforward, keep the resources next round. Once again, it's another really strong start for Falcons. We're not that far into the round. Magisk can get yet another opener in hut. And listen, Magisk doing something good is a fleeting thing nowadays, so we need to appreciate those moments when they do happen. Meanwhile, the rest of Falcons are trying to get their way downstairs. Nico gets the second kill of the round, but I didn't record the POV because I'm bad at this. And then we got to Rops at the top of ramp trying to hold the lower bomb site. Hits a nice good tap on the first player swinging out of the single door, but he only gets one kill before getting traded out. And now it's a 2v4. Are Vitality going to immediately save again? This time they say no and decide to full send it. ZywOo has a great beat on Nico in control, hits a nice quickscope onto him, picks up the AK. Mezzy takes care of Magisk coming down the vent. and now they can attempt the 2v2. I like that Falcons opt to stack Kixan and Munzi into Dark here. I think double Dark is a correct play here because most people aren't going to expect it. I know Kixan goes down to Mezzi, Munzi takes a swing, takes out ZywOo, flicks over to Mezzi, who's over by the bomb, but Munzi is simply too low health to get the spray to work. Mezzi hits a great flick, and from the jaws of defeat, do Vitality find a tying round 13-13. Obviously, a blown hold from Falcons, but really, I don't think they did anything necessarily wrong. Maybe Magist just shouldn't be peeking Vent. It's hard to really know if he should have done anything different. It feels like just kind of a timing thing. But regardless, this was a well-played round, but Vitality were just incredibly clutch when it mattered, a theme that will come up again and again throughout the rest of the overtime. Like in the very next round, and for the sake of time, because I know I've been yapping for a while at this point, we still got a lot to get through, we're going to skip all the way to this ending sequence, where from once again a very strong position, Falcons get whittled down by smart play by ZywOo and Rops, results in a 2v2 situation where Mezzi tries to spoil it as Kixan and Magist make their way out of hut. He gets Kixan but barely avoids getting traded out by Magist, who has to try and prioritize the bomb plant. Rops and Mezzi try and navigate this 2v1 here. I think Mezzi gets a little ahead of himself, giving Magist the 1v1 opportunity that he wants. Magist does take out Kixan on the swing, leaving him and Rops in the 1v1 dance. And compared to the one earlier against Kixan, Rops plays this one just to a T perfectly, leaving Magist no room to work to try and win this round back. And considering the early man advantage that Falcons had manufactured, that's 2 rounds in a row that really should have been theirs. And instead of looking at a clean sweep of overtime, we end up with Vitality going up 14-13 as we swap sides. After being stuck on the CT side for an eternity, Vitality clearly wanted to push the pace early, and much like Falcons did at the opening of overtime, they also want to go for a fast A execute. And to the credit of Magist and Kixan, they hold the site perfectly. Magist gets a great double kill out hut, Kixan clears up in front of Squeaky, and with Tessas rotating into Heaven taking out Apex, it leaves ZywOo in an unwinnable 1v5. Just a straight up great anchor for Magist and Kixan, and as we've already stated, Magist having good plays is a thing that should be cherished because they are few and far in between. We're tied up 14-14, and we're now on the verge of deciding who's going to hit match point first in this first overtime. And honestly, I want to hate on the call from Falcons here. I think over-aggressing outside, I generally don't like it as an individual, but listen, am I going to tell Munzi what he can or can't do? Hell no. If Munzi wants to get aggressive, do you. You're the baby goat for a reason. However, it does get punished by ZywOo, and it puts Falcons in a weird backfoot situation, especially with Rops lurking inside when he gets a great pick on ramp. However, this round goes from just nearly unsalvageable to a Nico masterclass out of nowhere as Nico slips by Rops in control room to get out lobby into T-spawn, and he catches 2 perfect timings on the bomb carriers. Twice when they look away from him does he appear from the ether to get these 2 picks, strand the bomb outside in a nearly unrecoverable place with where the teammates are positioned. Kixan then follows up with a great hold in mini, and slowly this 3v5 evaporates in an instant into a Rops 1v3. Nico just plays the timings perfectly. He gets a little bit lucky, but listen, you need luck sometimes. That's just how the game goes. But Nico, just always so aware of where everybody is, just takes that perfect opportunity to slip into T-spawn, and it puts Falcons in a position where suddenly they're in the driver's seat. It's their match point yet again. Can they actually win the fucking game this time? Okay, all right. I mean, you know, listen, you gave Vitality outside control. That's fine. You got Nico downstairs, you know, spotting things with a nice little pixel peek. Okay, all good, all good. Nico's going to fall back. He's going to play the single door stairs. That's fine. He's getting pushed. They're trying to take some good peeks. That's a great headshot from Nico. All right, 5v4. We're cooking. Munzi with the follow-up. All right, he gets traded out. That's fine. It's a 4v3. 4v3, right? There's no way. There's just no way things could go wrong from here. And, oh god, ZywOo. Why is it always ZywOo? ZywOo and Rops from here simply pick apart Falcons. Clinical. ZywOo's double on the lower bomb site. Perfect. Rops anchoring into ramp. Even better. I don't even really think Falcons made a mistake. I don't think you can look at anything they did here and be like, yeah, there was an actual mistake here that caused the round to fall apart. You just got picked apart by 2 of the best players in the very game. Like, what are you going to do? Just skill is going to win sometimes, and Vitality force overtime number 2, and that is another match point blown by Falcons. Now, as the second overtime is going to start, we're going to focus out from kind of the round-by-round commentary for a second and talk a little bit more about the narratives that have started to go wrong in the overtime for Falcons specifically. The big thing that stands out were clutches. There were multiple low man situations where Falcons were unable to convert what should have been round wins. The first round in the overtime in the background, they go up 4v3, but Flamesy with a great double entry out of A late turns things into a 2v2, and Muncie and Tesla's in the 2v2 post plant aren't able to convert. A lot of situations like that. You can flash back to earlier in the game with Tessas in the 1v4 that came down to just him and Mezzi. If he converts that, it's game over. Overall, we're in a position where at the end of this game, Vitality won 8 clutches to Falcons 4. And that is, doubling clutch wins is a huge difference. Not to say that Falcons didn't have those moments when it mattered. Obviously, Kixan had his one right after ZywOo's way back in regulation. Muncie with the Tech 9 on B at the end of double overtime, more on that in just a little bit. So while Falcons had them, they just didn't have enough with them. It just felt like Vitality were significantly more clutch in the end of this game, and it made all the difference in my opinion. What else is interesting about this double overtime is that both teams would clean sweep their T-side efforts, which is just unusual for Nuke. Obviously, it's a CT-sided map, we all know this. And I think that's kind of a byproduct of when you get to this point in the series, a best of 5, it's gone on for like 7 hours, you're in double overtime, both these teams are simply at the end of their ropes. They're at the bottom of the playbook, so it's coming down to who's just going to win those opening duels. And I felt like both teams on their T-sides throughout Nuke were very efficient in winning openers and taking early man advantages. I feel like both CT sides suffered a lot from having to play a man down early, and that's what we saw both of them execute in this double overtime pretty reliably. And then again, in Vitality's cases, it was just these low man situations were all theirs. Like in the next round, it's 15-16, they convert another 3v3 post plan situation. To finish off their T-side efforts, they had to win another 2v2, and I think you get the picture by this point. Vitality were just unbeatably clutch. Compare that over to Falcons T-side in the second half, and they didn't need to be clutch because they had Tessas, who just continues to mog every Vitality player, dude. Like, he starts off, he did this several times in this game. He goes up to Marshmallow, takes a look behind Big Graz, drops on top of Mini, Strafe jumps around the corner with a flashbang to get to Hell. He pushes right to Apex in Hell, takes him out, allowing him to get into Heaven. Meanwhile, ZywOo is stuck in Secret Stairs, trying to hold the angle, make sure they can't take control of Secret. Nico plays the world's worst game of chicken with ZywOo, successfully jiggling out the op shot. The molly comes in. ZywOo smokes out the molly, then walks through his own smoke with the op like a fucking boss, catching out Muncie by Redbox, because who would expect that play? And then we cut back to Tessas, who takes care of Mezzi up in Heaven, gets his third onto Robs coming up the ladder, which Robs, come on, dude, don't be going up the ladder like that. That's clearly a mistake. But just then gets his lurk pick from lobby, leaves ZywOo in a 1v4, and listen, ZywOo's been transcended, but some tasks are just a little too tall. I love the next round setup from Falcons a lot, because this is a set that they are going to run over and over, and it's very hard to deal with. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to wait out for the intel outside. They're going to go very delayed here while holding lobby. You got Tessas on top of the roof, making sure nobody can cross the red. Very, very slow play. Eventually, Nico is going to take a random wallbang through the big box, which I didn't know you could wallbang with an op, but that's cool. So Nico's hit low, the smoke walls come out, Nico accelerates into Secret, and now they've got exactly what they want. They have Tessas on top of Mini, Nico in Secret, they own outside, and now Vitality have to respect that. They know that with the wall smoke, someone has to have gone down Secret, so Falcons have gone exactly what they wanted, which is to bait a rotate lower. Eventually, Flamesy, with no intel and time getting low, is going to push it towards Secret looking for something, only to find Nico's crosshair point at his dome. Nico gets the free pick, and now the pinch A is on. Tessas drops into Mini, takes care of Mezzi backside, Kixan from Hut takes care of ZywOo in Heaven. Rops out of Vent, tries his best, but goes down in short order, leaving Apex in a 1v4. A beautiful last-second A hit off the back of that total outside control. This is beautiful utility management from the Falcons, and great calling from Kixan. Final round of the half here, it's win or triple overtime, and Falcons, they're playing from their bread and butter setup, but this time, with Tessas parked on top of Mini, Falcons are going to accelerate 3 players downstairs right away, no lobby lurk. Muncie just staying outside to give some flash assists for Tessas so he can cross over to Hell whenever he wants it. Tessas does so, and now Tessas is essentially the lurker. He gets to get into Heaven, monitor all of this CT info for free, while his teammates set up for this B hit that he'll eventually be able to pinch down into from Hell once he leaves Heaven. He clears everything diligently, he checks the rafters, he doesn't overextend, he gets so much free intelligence and is able to be in the perfect spot to backpick this B take as his teammates flood in. And everything pretty much went as perfect as you could want, other than the fact that ZywOo gets a sick double down in the bomb site by the double door as the rest of the trades come in, landing Tesses and m0NESY in a 2v1 with m0NESY rotating down from the single door. m0NESY gets a great shot on the Tesses, m0NESY manages to get the bomb down, m0NESY is insane, even though he misses the shot, he just calmly whips out the Tech 9 and blasts m0NESY in the skull. We're going to triple fucking overtime. And shit do begin wacky in the third overtime. Like, if the gloves were already off, we're just losing our sanity at this point. Nico gets very unfortunately killed early on to this round. A mixture of utility and spam takes him out early, which puts Falcons on the back foot with the outside control. But the key thing that happens here, that I did not capture well enough in my POV here, look at the minimap. Look what's about to happen there. Looks like Kicksan and ZywOo just walk past each other. Well, there's so many smokes out there that Kicksan just decides to creep through and see what he can make happen, right as ZywOo decides to do the same, trying to flank behind lobby. What this results in is a very weird situation where Falcon's best bet is to sit in lobby and wait and let Kicksan see what he can do trying to clear downstairs by himself. m0NESY helps us out with a great pick on Rops on ramp. Tesses holding, has to be aware that someone could have gone behind him, checks at the right time, takes out ZywOo, but just sells that this is going to be an upper hit by going through Squeaky and immediately dying, so the Vitality players can't really rotate yet. Meanwhile, Kicksan has fully cleared the B bomb site, is making his way through ramp, and is just given the all clear to haul ass out of lobby, bring the bomb, and let's plant lower. Now, for all of those outright shenanigans, m0NESY nearly single-handedly wins this round back from the grave. It comes down to just Kicksan being able to finish things out by shooting him in the side of the head. But that aside, everything else pretty much went as well as you could have hoped for from a 4v5 start. Now, I think the next round really illustrates just how strained these teams are, because we are rapidly devolving into chaos. Majis decides to just full send it on a full buy versus full buy round to get downstairs and vent drop, and then he swings and just one taps Rops. Just cleanly sits his ass down. Alright, fair enough. However, the rotates start getting really wacky here because Falcons are trying to go ramp, two players from Vitality sneak down vents, get by Magisk, so now Magisk is literally trapped double doors, ZywOo is single doors, another player is in vent, another player is hell. He tries to take care of ZywOo in the single door and dies, so now going B is a lot harder if you're Falcons, so they kind of wheel it back and decide to go back into lobby. Nico has lurked outside to go into mini, and then m0NESY, I can't glaze this man enough, is so good at anchoring. The fact he gets 2 kills on this anchor is absolutely incredible because he should have gone 1 max. Hitting 2 is just incredible work, keeps Vitality in the round. It winds up with Tesses in a 1v3, and because Tesses is cooking with pure unleaded gasoline, he manages to whittle this down to a 1v1 against FlameZ. He has a full minute to work with, takes the slow rotate into ramp, and manages to get the bomb down and reposition to the top of ramp, and now all he has to do is defend the bomb. However, FlameZ has a kit and a smoke. He drops it, goes for the stick in the smoke, and Tesses, as good as he's been playing, cannot find him in the smoke, and once again misses out a 1v4 clutch that would have put his team in winning position. You can't make this shit up. This man has done damn near everything the Falcons have asked for him, but 2 rounds he was unable to close from inhuman odds, and they were 2 of the most important rounds of the game. That sucks so bad. Last round of this half, and it's probably the weakest CT side round Vitality have played in a while. Tesses and m0NESY combine for great picks outside. m0NESY gets 2 of them. Falcons play very, very smart here. They take their sweet time working this outside control, even after they get the pick advantage. They're not too quick to take side control. Eventually, it's just an open shot straight into A, and even though Rops is already in heaven, he's just up against too many players. There's no way he's getting everybody. The trades come in, and Falcons take their 20th round, heading into the CT side, just needing 2 more rounds to close down this game. However, they would not win another round. Vitality would sweep yet another T side en route to victory. And honestly, it felt like these 3 rounds were just Vitality realizing that they didn't want to play anymore. The very first one, it's an A hit like 20 seconds into the round. They just get all 3 picks immediately. They eviscerate Magisk, Nico, m0NESY, take them off the board, leaving Kicksan and Tesses in an uphill battle in a 2v4. They will it down to a 2v2 as the bomb goes down, and yet another low man situation that Falcons are just not able to convert. Tesses misses out on his like 3rd, 4th, 5th, 17th clutch of the game, which just feels so bad, because again, the man has 40, but he couldn't finish these rounds to save his life. Round 41, it's all 4 players downstairs for Vitality, 1 player lurking. Flamesy's going to get the first trade on Nico and Vent and then detonate into the bomb site for his second. Mezzy's going to push it to ramp and find his own. It's immediately into a 4v2, and you have to save if you're Falcons because Munacy doesn't have op money. However, in the save in CT, Vitality full send it knowing the econ is in the dirt, so they do everything in their power to take those guns out of their hands, and when they do kill Magisk and Munacy, it puts Falcons in a terrible place where now if you want to get Munacy and op, which you gotta get Munacy and op, Kixen has to get stuck on an MP9. The resources finally run dry. And with blood in the water, it's the best team in the world doing best team in the world shit. It's just a delayed, stuttered A take, 30 seconds into the round. Rops goes out hut, which is all the authority he can. A double kill. Apex follows up with the lurk kill in lobby. Flamesy with his own on Kixen in heaven, and it leaves Munacy in a 1v4. The series is going to come to an end. Grand Slam, 4 championships in a row. It's Vitality's era to lose at this point. What a incredible final map. Truly one of the best Nuke games that I've watched in years. So I think it was worth it to sit down and take a long, detailed, exhaustive look at everything that happened that got Vitality this victory, because truly it was back and forth. And while yes, Falcons absolutely threw an insane advantage to get there, in the overtime, I think you really saw just how evenly matched both these teams were. Falcons, while we all hate this organization, and rightfully so, these 5 players are certainly competitive enough to make Vitality sweat. And if Vitality continue to dominate the competition regardless, then it makes their era even more inevitable and even stronger historically. So Falcons being this good is objectively good for the health of the scene, even if the oil money does suck. An insane grand finals, and with Blast Rivals going on as I talk about it, we might even get to see them play again sooner than we thought. We looked at the scoreboard way back at the beginning of this video, almost 30 something minutes ago. Thank you for sticking out if you made it this far. Let's look at the scoreboard one more time. Tesses from 8 kills to 40, Zywoo from 10 to 35. Munacy went from I think 12 and 7 to 31 and 29, which is not ideal, but he had absolute insane moments of impact, so I'm not going to hold that against him. Nico definitely had a ho-hum game, but really he was kind of far back in the pack, letting Tesses have a lot of the space. So I'm not really going to hold that against him. Meanwhile, Romps, Mezzy, Flames, all of those guys were awful at that point back at the beginning of this video. All 3 of them end with nearly 30. That is an insane turnaround, and it shows just how strong the mental and how deep the bag is for this Vitality team. If you guys like these kinds of videos, make sure you show me leaving a like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Help me hit 10K by the end of the year. I appreciate it immensely. Thank you to Skin for sponsoring this video. Check the top link in the description. Get 7% deposit bonus the next time you fill up. Make sure you gamble safely and responsibly. Thank you to our channel members: Justin, Jesse, Furley, Milan Berta, Bubblesj, Dr. Cocktor, Patatas Kaftesi, PTR, B1 Games, Cody Foxworthy, Justin Vegt, I'm Flashbang, Snowmy White, Rowdy, Vergil'sPlasticChair, and Sid Pro 12. If you want to become a channel member, you can just look at the link in the description down below. For $5 a month, you can support me directly, get you everything in the video just like this, as well as a custom roller community Discord. Follow me on Twitch.tv/LionHeartZ2. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.